What's up, everyone? This is your pal, the Revelator here, bringing you another video and a shocking revelation to many, common sense to the few. Hold on a second, let me get this light. As you all know, I make bi-weekly videos, so hopefully you'll enjoy them every 2 weeks on every Saturday or Sunday. Oh, hold on a second. Before I even get into the topic, oh man, this reminds me of one of the rant videos from the YouTuber King of Lightning. The sun is mine, Rasengan! Okay. Right. Got some fresh water. Had to slip myself out of the silliness. Right, now I'm on serious mode. So today's topic is going to be something that I think a lot of people are starting to catch up on. And this is something that I tried mentioning for more than 10 years, but no one had listened in the very beginning, but maybe now because it's a complaint that's been voiced loud enough over and over to where now people are starting to notice it a bit. Because when I first voiced this, everyone just laughed it off when I first brought it up. And that is the toxicity of the American culture. Although it extends beyond the American cultures to the Anglosphere. What do I mean by this? When I was in Poland, Ukraine, Slovakia, the social media trends and simply the social arbitrage between what is talked about and discussed on this versus real life was around here. Although it's been thinning and thinning each year, it's still, you can basically say social media is not real life. The way people talk on the internet is not the same as they talk in real life. In America, I believe because of COVID, the same thing for Great Britain and Canada, is now down to here. As in, it's nothing. And this is a huge problem. Because what I've noticed is how in today's day and age, literally means that the toxic stuff that's discussed online is going to be discussed in real life all the time, and that also the superficial clicks, the social environment, wanting to navigate, make friends, get acquaintances, social connections, and I don't need to explain dating, all of it is going to get progressively worse. And it's going to reach a boiling point. I know a few YouTubers cover this, but of course I'll give you my take on it. Because many of them just bring up the West or maybe just America, but they don't really talk about the Anglosphere at large and how it's just contributing to the social writing of the entire West. What do I mean by this? So when it comes to how you look, how you present yourself, your perceived self-worth among the public has all changed from 13 years ago when social media was just starting out. Back then, people were not as shallow and not as superficial or materialistic, nor are they as nihilistic or narcissistic. You keep hearing about the era of narcissism today. Well, that is very much true. However, it's definitely true more so for the 2020s, but not everywhere you go around the world. Obviously not, but even not everywhere around the West. It is mostly something that is plaguing the Anglosphere in particular. What do I mean by this? Okay, so if I can show you here on my laptop, although I don't know if I can, Washington Post recently, as of yesterday, or actually it was a few days ago, had released from the Department of Data how Republican or Democratic is your name. So I mean by toxicity. It's to the point where everything is so superficial, so classist, to such a degree that everyone has to be boxed in some kind of category, some kind of group, some kind of class. This is true in Great Britain, here in America, Australia, New Zealand, etc. Everyone has to be lumped into some group. Everyone has to be boxed in. When I was in Slovakia, there wasn't anywhere near the amount of classism, this obsession with labels, obsession with boxing people in into some class or league, etc. And this goes for everything, including dating, which in the United States you hear of, oh yeah, you're a 6 out of 10, or you're a 4 out of 10, you're a this girl's a 9 out of 10. It's so dumb. It's so ridiculously dumb. And now, because everything's becoming so politically charged, now we're literally looking at surnames and just first in general, and that is an indicator of how Republican or Democrat you are? What? I just don't understand in the Anglosphere this obsession with class. It's so class conscious, and we have to form new classes, new stat symbols, which is why I brought this up. When it comes to the smartphone, when it comes to social media, and what it's done to people. Now, especially because of apps like Tinder and Instagram, your face is the new status symbol. Depending on how average, ugly, or attractive your face is, it used to be something that was taken a little bit lightly in the dating world. It didn't mean too much. The further you go back in time, the less it mattered. Now, it matters so much to where it's gone beyond just the juvenile, superficial high school kind of superficiality. It's now a social status symbol. It's egregious and offensive, really. I bring this up because last night I was out with my friend, and he brought me to this, high class restaurant and club. And regardless of how well I dressed, one thing I noticed is that it was all about the face, all about the superficial, your hairstyle, etc. And more important than that, what I've noticed is that because it's about the face and the hairstyle and just simply how you look up here, the way you look right here, being toned and muscular, hardly matters by comparison. I mean, no wonder Gen Z is taking the black pill. Or Gen Alpha, just any of the younger generations, really. Because of this. But it's mostly an Anglosphere thing. It's mostly an Anglo thing. I go on X every day, and the same kind of discourse is promoted. You see just any one post, talking about an actress like Sydney Sweeney or any one who's really attractive, and you see so many simps in the comments. It's disgusting. And yet, people will complain about how toxic the culture is, how we objectify people, how we belittle people or elevate people via idolatry. And yet, hypocritically, they just go right back to it. They just contribute all the same. But again, when I was over in Europe, this was not around 2/3 of the time, which is not only another reason why I would like to go back there, but it's also I am afraid of the westernization of that region, or rather the Americanization of that region. Because the Americanization of Eastern Europe, and with the numerous American and Western men going there, those import those values, those Anglosphere values. It's one of the reasons why I don't like the passport bro movement, is because they don't learn. They just repeat the same mistakes that cause the culture here to go to shit. And eventually, if I were to go back there as an English teacher, eventually that culture will seep into there, into my workspace. Because I can tell you, I work a job here in the United States and it's plenty cliquish and plenty toxic too. The same stuff that I just mentioned in this video, toxic workplace, very cliquish, very superficial, you name it. And it's just something that I really, really can't help but notice that's mostly an American, British, Canadian thing. It's just gotten to a point where I've had enough of it. So that's what I have for today. It's kind of a rant on the toxic culture and the obsession that we have with labeling ourselves and having to categorize ourselves all the time. I really do think this is kind of harmful for the culture, and it needs to die out sooner rather than later, because if it doesn't, it's going to bring an enormous amount of problems. Anyway, this is Revelator. Once again, hope you all have a really great weekend or weekend night, weekend morning, whatever time you're watching this. And I'll see you all 2 weeks from now. Bye.